It's morning here in the town that I finally learned was called Pulau Rakyat. And I think one of the reasons I was so confused, I was chatting with Roy and his friends last night, and they said that there are so many different names. People use different names for this town for some reason. But Pulau Rakyat is the real name. And even that one's confusing because Pulau means island, and obviously Sumatra is an island, but this town is not on an island. It isn't an island, so why Island Rakyat, I don't know, but that is the name. And yeah, there's my room behind me at the Azura Coast, number 2. It's about 7:15, just getting on the road to ride to Tanjung Balai. Oh. Selamat pagi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you again very much. So, see you next time. Yeah, so that was the friendly owner of Azura Coast and a mean ping pong player. I saw him and his friends playing. He had a really good serve, very professional serve, and he could return serves very well. Maybe he's the local champion player, I don't know. But yeah, if I wanted to have breakfast here, they would probably come up with a breakfast for me. But yeah, in the morning, I'm always eager to get on the road. Yeah, even this morning, it just takes a lot longer to get organized than I'm accustomed to, mainly because I'm shooting video, I think. Previous cycling trips, all you have to do is take care of yourself and the bike and you're on the road. Add to that getting all your camera gear ready. Yeah, it seems to complicate matters tremendously, and it takes a lot longer. I haven't gotten the rhythm of that down yet. I don't know. I worked so hard last night when I got here, copying video files, charging up batteries. I was so super organized, I thought, and doing everything really well. And then this morning, I mounted my 2 GoPros onto the bike here, onto my broomstick. And then one of my GoPros, the battery was had 20%. And I would swear I charged every single battery to 100%. I would have sworn to that, and yet apparently I missed one. I have no idea how. And you get caught by so many little things in life. I left my bike parked outside my room last night. It's a perfectly safe area, and I just leaned it up against a wall and locked it, and I left it there. It was underneath the roof, so even if it rained, it would be no problem at all. But I step outside this morning and my bike was completely soaked. It was soaking wet because I had parked it right underneath the air conditioner. And all night long, the air conditioner was dripping water right onto my handlebars and soaked everything, the front half of my bike. You get caught by so many little things, it's crazy. You have to be so methodical when you're cycling, and then add to that shooting video. And yeah, here we are. So this is going to be my life for the morning anyway. A lot of traffic, a lot of trucks. There's really nothing you can do about it. This is the only road I can follow. Morning. So you just have to put your head down, maybe stuff some cotton in your ears for the noise, and get going. Hug the shoulder. Yeah, I can't believe it that Taka, the Japanese cyclist, I think he was on this highway the entire time from Dumai, 400 kilometers, something like that. I think I think I'm looking at maybe 20 kilometers. And again, another really dumb thing. I don't have any data on my phone, so I have no way to get information or check distances or anything. But yeah, so it's one of these crazy catch-22 situations where I don't have any data. So what I need to do is buy like a data package using my OVO e-wallet, but I don't have access to any Wi-Fi. So the only way to get mobile data, well, you have to have access to the internet in order to get access to the internet. I run into that problem all the time. It's sort of like, I don't know, you want a drink of water, but the only way you can get any water is if you already have water. That's the way the internet is. I want to get internet access, but I have to have internet access in order to buy internet access. And I don't have that at this place. But I figure it's okay. I know where I'm going. I have Google Maps. I can't get distances on Google Maps, but I can see where I am. And when I get to Tanjung Balai, I guess the very first, if assuming I get there on time, the first thing I need to do is go to the ferry office and buy. I reserved a seat. Today is Thursday and the ferry is on Saturday. It's also the last day of my visa, so I can't miss it. But I already reserved a ticket, but I haven't been able to pay for it yet. The Tanjung Balai office, they aren't covered by the website, so you can't reserve a ticket out of Tanjung Balai and pay for it through their website. So you have to show up in person and pay in cash. I don't know why. All the other Indomal Fast Ferry operations, if you're going to Malacca or Dumai, the website works fine for those, but for some reason the Tanjung Balai Port Dickson route it's broken as far as the website is concerned. I've left the edges of the town of Pulau Rakyat, and now I'm out in the countryside. Yeah, it kind of puzzles me that Google Maps, like when you're offline, I have no mobile internet access right now, for some reason it can't tell you distances. And yet I know it has the data. I downloaded this part of Google Maps. It's in memory loaded into my phone. And you know, a big part of the data is the distances. It's there. And yet when you input two different locations, it says, oh, we can't tell you how far that is unless you have internet access. And I guess that's because Google Maps isn't really designed just to give you a static number. What it wants to do is calculate things for a driver. Like if you're driving a car, how far is it, like according to the best route of getting there, according to current traffic conditions and weather conditions and road conditions, etc. And it's that information it can't give me because I have no internet access. But for me, a humble cyclist, I don't need any of that information. All I really want to know is, well, how far is it to the intersection? How many kilometers? And yet, even though that information surely is there, the way Google Maps is set up, it can't tell you. At least I haven't figured out a way for it to tell me. So far, it's quite cold this morning. Temperatures very much on the cool side. Skies are completely overcast, so there's no sun, which is nice. Nice to start the day like this, nice and cool. On Google Maps, I could see the road, of course. And I know that even on this road, you're not going into the mountains, but you still go up and down all the time because we're skirting the edges of the mountains. And of course, there are rivers coming down out of the mountains. So all the rivers are going this direction while the road is going this way. So following this road, you're actually crossing a number of rivers, which means you go down to the river and then climb up the other side. Then you go down the next river valley and climb up the other side. And you're basically going like that, you know, all the way. Surrounded by oil palm, as usual, left and right side of the road. Douglas. Yeah, the English question, what is your name? Yikes. I had a bunch of trucks passing a truck, and the main truck got stuck behind me. I guess I'll be talking a lot about trucks again today. And that is a truck of oil palm. Yeah. Very slow moving truck because of that heavy load. Man, they really pack it in there too. And it's a tough road too, like I talked about before. You can probably see it here. Like the side of the road has this big wave of asphalt because of all the heavy trucks. It pushes down and it pushes it to the left and creates a barrier, like a wall of squeezed up asphalt on the left side. So it's hard to hug the shoulder. Yeah. Cloud cover. Nice. Yeah, I keep thinking about the Japanese cyclist Taka. I was asking him about his YouTube channel, and he said that he posts like maybe one video a week. And they're very short videos, like 10 minutes long, he says, and they're in Japanese. And he said he had a drone. We were chatting about, making videos while cycling, and I mentioned that all the really big popular channels, well, there's very cycling is just not popular on YouTube, but like motorcycle journeys, one common theme is they have a drone and include drone shots. And to my surprise, Taka said, yeah, he has a drone. So somewhere in all those bags on his bike, he had a drone tucked away. So I'll be curious to see if he has drone footage on his YouTube channel. But I haven't been able to look at his videos yet because I haven't had any Wi-Fi and no mobile internet either. Here comes a heavily loaded truck. Oh yeah, more oil palm. Another one coming. Yikes! Those two are carrying lumber. Yeah, as far as cycling goes, if you were going to cycle in Sumatra and the route you had to follow was on roads like this, yeah, I wouldn't bother. There's not a whole lot of attraction cycling on a road like this, but there's no alternatives. Better do my mental checklist before I get too far. Passport, smartphones, yeah, I know where they all are, all my cameras. Yeah, I don't think I left anything behind. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, I wonder where Taka is and where he spent the night. How far he got up into the mountains. I told him about the place where I stayed, just in case he wanted to stay in a hotel of some kind, or a guest house, I should call it. As he normally sleeps outside at a mosque or a temple. I have to admit, I did wonder about the ethics of that. People here in Indonesia, of course, will tell you that it's part of the Muslim faith to offer hospitality to strangers. If a stranger comes to your home or your village, to the mosque, it's part of the culture to take care of the traveling stranger. Which is a great thing. But then if you are sort of someone who's set off to ride your bicycle around the world, and part of your strategy for doing that is to stay at a mosque or a temple for free every single night, feels a little bit like you're pushing the boundaries in terms of what's ethical, taking advantage of local hospitality, basically getting free accommodation night after night after night. Of course, it's not fancy accommodation. He's just sleeping on the floor in the common area of the temple. But still, it's hospitality. But What's going on up here? Trucks have come to a stop. Oh, these two flat tire. Can you imagine? I always feel so sorry for motorists. Anybody that gets a flat tire throws such a wrench into their day. Just ruins their whole plans for the day, you know? But yeah, I think they push these trucks pretty hard. Heavy loads, worn out tires, so flat tires, pretty common. Broken axles, broken transmissions. A woman went by taking video. It was really nice last night to have a room with air conditioning and to have my own bathroom with a big water tub. So I was able to rinse out all my clothing from all the sweat. So I wore this t-shirt the last few days, like every day while hiking or cycling, and then yesterday I wore it. And it was just dripping with sweat by the end of the day. So it was nice to be able to rinse it out, get it nice and clean, hang it up to dry. And then because of the air conditioner, it had dried perfectly throughout the night. But I can feel it, it's already soaked through though. I've only ridden like 5 kilometers. And I've already sweat so much. Yeah, my shirt is already wet. Sarapan pagi, breakfast. Lontong sayur, that's a good breakfast. Yeah, I like that. Oh. Hello. But a truck came up behind me, but he doesn't want to pass me for some reason. Looks like there's lots of room, but he slowed down for some reason. A big one, cargo container. I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, like I said, trucks are going to be the theme of the day. Trucks in front of me, to the left of me, to the right of me. Behind me. I don't know if the trend will continue all the way, but so far it's been a lot more downhill than uphill. Eesh. Big monster truck behind me. It just makes me think about when I cycled in this direction on this road. I must have done a lot more climbing than I realized, because so far I'm doing, that feels like I'm doing a lot more downhill than uphill. Here's an uphill section. I think I'm very close to the, don't know what that horn was about, the Liberty Hotel. I think it's up at the top of this hill somewhere. On my way out, I stopped. I was going to spend the night at the Liberty, but I didn't like the look of the place. So I just kept riding. It was another 10, 11, or 12 kilometers from the Liberty to that town. And I just thought, well, maybe there's a place to stay in that town. I might as well just keep going. But of course, what I didn't realize that it was all uphill from here to that town. That was a lot of climbing. But here's a pretty steep hill to climb up. Yeah, the truck up ahead dropped down into first gear, just like me. Yeah, this little bike ride in Sumatra has been relatively short, but even when I was staying in that little village up in the mountains, almost every day I was either riding my bike up steep hills or I was hiking up steep hills. So despite how short this trip has been on the bike, gotten a lot of good conditioning in, which bodes well if I follow through on an idea to cycle around Malaysia. I'm sort of getting into good physical shape right now. And I'm sort of getting into the rhythm, you know, the rhythm of a cycling day. Takes a while to get into that rhythm, a couple of weeks at least. And I'm just about there. Yeah, I'm really wondering what my reception is going to be like in Port Dickson. There's the Liberty Hotel, yeah, right there. The red sign up ahead. Hello. Yeah. I'm really glad I decided not to stay there. It's funny when somebody honks their horn to say hello, or they give me a thumbs up. Yikes. There's a car there coming head on for me. Oh, they're passing a truck. But yeah, when someone honks and waves hello, I look up from the road to kind of wave back to them or acknowledge them. But every time I do that, I kind of lose control of the bike. And I end up going off the edge of the road sometimes. And all the way down to my good friend first gear. Yeah, the gear shifters I have, the whole drivetrain on this bike, it's not a very expensive one. It's quite low grade. I remember, I think I put it on this bike when I was in the Philippines. Everything was worn out in the Philippines, the chain and the sprockets. So I replaced the whole drivetrain. But it's a pretty complicated thing to do when you have an older bike, because quite often newer components don't fit on an older bike. So I had to do a lot of shopping around in the Philippines, and I finally found a bike shop that had a drivetrain that would fit my bike. But it's not a very expensive one. And the gears, it doesn't actually tell you what gear you're in. You just have to make a judgment call looking at the lever. It's like, yeah, I think this is second gear. Oh, I think this is ninth gear, whatever gear you're in. Doesn't actually give you any feedback. Uh-oh. Gotta get off the road here. Oh. Yeah, I got stuck there because, yeah, I had to get off the road. But right here, there's a whole bunch of glass, so I had to stop. I'm right in the middle of there was an accident here. Doesn't surprise me. This feels like a pretty dangerous hill. So somebody smashed up here. It's all glass everywhere. So I do not want a flat tire, so I had to stop. And car coming up behind me. So when you set off at low speed, until you get going, you have a tendency to wobble a little bit. And I don't like to freak out the drivers if I'm ahead of them and they see me wobbling the front wheel of my bike, like I might suddenly veer out in front of them. I don't want to scare them, so. Yeah, when you're going uphill this slowly, it's hard to keep your front wheel steady. Keep it in a straight line. And it's actually easier for me because I have the trailer. If you have a fully loaded bike with, pannier bags on the front and a handlebar bag, all the weight on the front wheel. Hello. It's a lot harder to keep your bike steady, keep your front wheel straight. It's one advantage to a trailer too. Your front wheel is completely loose and nimble. All right, going downhill. Good boy. Big mounds of tar there. Because that's the thing too, when they have a pothole, they fill the pothole with tar, but then the tar isn't really like the original road surface. It ends up being pushed down into the pothole, and then it squeezes up the sides. Just coming up on a sign, road sign, Medan, 174 kilometers. Banda Aceh, 777. So if you stay on this national highway for 777 more kilometers, you'll end up in Banda Aceh. I actually did this road by bicycle all the way, like from Banda Aceh down here to Tanjung Balai a couple years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. So I've actually done this entire highway all the way to the northern tip at Banda Aceh. Yeah, that was an experience. But today on this trip coming down, it isn't as stressful as it was when I was heading the other direction. I think partially because there are less trucks. Feels like there's less trucks on the road. I could be imagining things, but also because I'm going largely downhill, so I'm going a lot faster, you know, on average, instead of like this way it's uphill the entire way and you're just basically grinding uphill very, very slowly the whole time with all of the trucks going past. But now sort of going downhill for some reason. When you're going faster, the trucks don't seem quite as oppressive. Friendly. Good morning. A couple of big gas and oil trucks honking and waving encouragement to the guy on the bicycle. Yeah, I'm just a few kilometers away from the turnoff to head down to Tanjung Balai. Maybe 5 kilometers ahead, 6, 7, something like that. Ooh. Yeah, there's a car trying to pass that truck coming in my direction. Thought better of it at the last second. So, assuming nothing goes wrong, I should be getting into Tanjung Balai earlier than I thought. I'm trying to decide if I want to go back to my regular hotel. I'd like to try a new place, but all the other hotels are at least twice as expensive, probably 3 times as expensive, so I'll probably end up back at the Malaysia for 2 nights. That's assuming my room is available, because the one, I think they only have one single room with an air conditioner that sort of works. And it may or may not be available. But I think I'll go straight to the Malaysia hotel first when I get there. See if I can get a room, check in, and then this afternoon I can go to the ferry office, pick up my ticket. Yeah, I would have contacted the Malaysia ahead of time to ask them to reserve a room, but yeah, it was too late when I discovered I didn't have any data left and no Wi-Fi, so I couldn't contact them. Been passed by a big lineup of police vehicles, like armored police vehicles and ambulances and police cars. Something special going on. Oop. A bus coming up behind me. They're always the fastest on the road. They got brute power, those buses. Nothing slows them down. And I see a bicycle up ahead. Somebody carrying recycling, I think. Hello. The other day when I met Taka, the Japanese cyclist, I was thinking about all the Japanese cyclists I've met over my lifetime. And some of these guys have been on the road so long that all of their gear fell apart. And sometimes you'd see a bike that actually looks like this one up ahead, because these Japanese were so hardcore that they would just pile garbage bags onto their bikes and just keep going and going and going. So it's not beyond the pale that this could have been a Japanese cyclist. But now he's a recycling guy. Plastic bottles and cans, tin cans. Selamat pagi. Here's the sign for the turnoff for Tanjung Balai. Tebing Tinggi and Medan straight ahead. Alternative Tanjung Balai to the right. So my time on the national highway is coming to an end. There will still be trucks on the road to Tanjung Balai, but I don't think there will be as many. Woo. Hey, yeah. A little bit of a convoy. And on my way, when I rode out this direction, that one came close. That's what happens with the long trucks and the buses. The front of the bus gets past you and then they move over, but they don't realize that the rear end of the bus hasn't passed you yet. So as the front of the bus moves over to the left, the back end of the bus comes very close to me. Yeah, felt like that was just about to clip me, knock me off the road. But so far, I survived the national highway. Only about 30 kilometers on the highway by the time I'm done. So, as I said, can you imagine Taka doing this for like 400 kilometers? Hello. Hello. How are you? All right, making the turn. Onto a slightly smaller, slightly less busy road. Whew, I made it. I survived the national highway of Sumatra. Hello. It was nice starting so early in the morning. I guess I was on the road by just after 7. So I got a couple of hours of cycling in when it was still cool. But now the sun is out, so getting a lot hotter very quickly. You see this guy ahead of me carrying one of the hooks for cutting oil palm. Yeah, you see them riding down the road, they have them on their shoulder, but the hook part, they have it covered up. This is a good plan, because that's a very sharp blade. This looks to be the welcome gate into Tanjung Balai, over there on the right. Tanjung Balai, Kota Kokchang. Welcome to Tanjung Balai. Ah, and here's the gate up ahead. The official city boundaries. Selamat datang, Kota Tanjung Balai. Back on familiar ground. And I was going to go to the hotel first, but I'm here early enough. I think I can go to the ferry company before lunch, just to make sure that they're open, because Independence Day holidays are coming up and you never know when offices are going to close. I was going to go get the ticket tomorrow on Friday, because I had the whole day, but for all I know they're going to close on Friday to make a long weekend or something because of the holiday. So I'm going to make sure I get there as soon as I can. The other times I've taken my bicycle on the ferry, I just had the bike and my trailer, those two units basically. Hello, I'm from Canada. But when I do that, the trailer ends up being really heavy. It has wheels and you can roll it around. But even so, to put it onto the ferry, I think they have to pick it up. So I think this time I'm going to pack a bit differently and make a separate bag. Hello, how are you? Well, that is a very slow becak. Look at the rear wheel of that motorcycle. It's on such an angle, barely holding together. Wonder why there's so many becak here. Must be government offices there. I saw some men in uniform under a tree as well. Oh, look at this. Shade. Shady trees. That's nice. Feels good. But yeah, I think I'm going to make a separate bag from the trailer. Put half the weight in the bag. The other half will be the trailer. And I'll take the wheels off the trailer and put them inside, just so it isn't as bulky. I always leave the wheels on because I think it's so convenient to wheel it around, but every time I've done that for these ferries, they don't seem to understand the wheels, how they work, and they end up carrying the trailer anyway, even though they could just roll it around. So there's no point leaving the wheels on. So yeah, the way the trailer is designed, it's designed to pop the wheels off, put them inside the trailer, and it makes just basically a big duffel bag. Yeah, but I think the boat is scheduled, last I heard it's scheduled to leave at 7 a.m., which means arriving at the dock at 5 at the latest. They always say 4 a.m. is when they want you there. That's pretty early, but get there at 5. So it's kind of a little bit of a sleepless night the night before. You end up basically waking up at something like 2 or 3 in the morning to pack up and get to the ferry dock. But then you get a gorgeous day just sitting on the boat, relaxing as they take you to Port Dickson. Hello. Whew. So that's the Indomal Fast Ferry company office right there behind me and to my left now. And I paid for my ticket. Unfortunately, well, they have economy class and VIP class. And VIP is much nicer, and it only costs 50,000 rupiah more. But I don't know, the office here is really disorganized. I don't know what it is, but something about their systems there. They can never quite figure out what they're doing. And now you cannot reserve VIP through the website, or their entire website for Tanjung Balai doesn't work anymore for some reason. So you can't really, the only way you can book VIP, like pay for it, is to come to the office. So I came here this morning to buy my ticket, but they said all the VIP upgrades are sold out. But I mean, I send messages back and forth with them all the time about reserving the ticket, getting my reservation number, telling them I want VIP and I'll pay for it when I get there. So make sure VIP this. We talked about it endlessly, and then I show up and they're like, oh, we have no VIP. Sold out. They're just so disorganized here. I don't know why. Because Indomal also operates out of Dumai, out of Malacca, out of Port Dickson. And they're all very good there, very organized, very efficient. But at this office, whoever's handling the ticketing, I don't know, they always seem to forget what they're doing. But anyway, at least they did reserve a seat for me, but it's in economy class, which is fine. It's just a lot more crowded, a lot less comfortable. And then maybe when I get to the dock, they said maybe I can upgrade to a VIP. Maybe somebody will cancel. And the people here did say, well, we can call for you. We will see if we can get you a VIP, but they won't. They won't do it. But at least I have the ticket, since that's the day my visa expires. So if I miss that boat, then I end up overstaying my visa. I don't know how you fix that problem, to be honest. And the last leg of today's little journey, just ahead to the Malahayati Hotel. See how that works out. They said there are some other hotels here I wouldn't mind trying out, just for something different, but just doesn't make a lot of sense because they can be like 300,000 per night, 350,000 per night. And at the Malahayati, my humble room there is 1/3 the price. 120,000 per night, so I guess I'll go back to my regular place. The ticket, by the way, one way to Port Dickson is 650,000 rupiah. VIP would be 50,000 extra. I thought it was 550. I asked them if the price had gone up. And then the woman talked for a long time about going to Batam, going here, going there, and I didn't understand anything she was talking about. But whether the price went up or not, I don't know. Well, I've arrived, my new home sweet home. I did go back to the Malahayati Hotel. Unfortunately, the single rooms upstairs, they're all occupied. Those are the cheap rooms. So I had to take a more expensive double room down here on the main floor. So this is there's my big double bed, or king size, whatever size it is. And yeah, it's a much bigger room. Not that I need all this space, so I probably could have gone to one of the other hotels anyway, because I would have to pay a higher price there. And I ended up having to pay a higher price here anyway. Yeah, my return to Tanjung Balai, the little things, you know how all those little things, when they go wrong, can be very annoying. It's not like a big deal or anything, but it's like like when I went to get my ticket and all the VIP seats were sold out. It was like, and I tried so hard to get them to keep a VIP seat for me, but they just didn't bother. But maybe when I go to the dock on Saturday, I guess it's Saturday morning, I might be able to upgrade on the spot. Just pay there at the dock, see if there's a VIP seat available. If not, I'll just have to make myself at home. Actually, I took this ferry a number of times in the past, always in economy class, But that was because I didn't even know there was a VIP class, and I didn't know it was relatively inexpensive, because when you go to the ticket office and they say, would you like I'd like to buy a seat, they sell you a seat and that's the end of it. You go to the website, there's tickets and one price, and you buy the ticket, and that's all I ever did. And I never knew that for a nominal fee you could sit upstairs in the VIP section, which is just a bit more comfortable. Yeah, I didn't even know it existed for a long time. So I've done the economy class before without knowing there was another option. So that's all I have right now is the economy class. So anyway, that kind of went wrong, but I did get a ticket, so that's a good thing. But then while I was riding, one of those weird things happened where a local man just latched onto me, like a man, very rough looking guy, very dirty clothing, but riding a motorcycle. And he just sort of started following me everywhere I went. And I couldn't understand a word he was saying. And the last time that happened to me was like a couple of years ago in Sientar, when somebody I saw was following me on a scooter, and I kept looking at them in my rear view mirror wondering, okay, what is that guy? Why is he following me? And then he pulled up beside me. This was a long time ago in Sientar, and I thought he was just going to say, hello, what is your name, where are you from? But then he reached over, he got close to me, reached over, grabbed my smartphone, stole it, and then took off. So ever since then, I've been very suspicious when someone starts following me on their motorcycle. I think they're setting me up for a robbery. So, and when I was away from Tanjung Balai, like all the other towns that I went to, people that I'm talking to, the name Tanjung Balai comes up, and everybody had this reaction. It's like, oh, Tanjung Balai, you better be careful there, because it has I didn't know this, but I guess it has a reputation for lawlessness, for smuggling, for drug addicts, for con artists, scams. It has a very negative reputation in Sumatra, which I didn't know about. But I had all those stories in my head. So when this guy started following me, I was sort of like, I had my smartphone in my pocket. And I knew I really shouldn't keep it there because it's within easy reach for a pickpocket. So I got very nervous having the phone there, and then I stopped at one point and I moved it into a bag. I put it away and put it behind a locked zipper. And then I kept riding, and the man kept following me and following me and following me. And I tried to get rid of him. But what I wanted to do was get a cup of cold iced tea at all my usual places on the street there. I was so looking forward to it. Like, oh, I'm going to get a cold iced tea. And then the iced tea people, they weren't there. Like the one time I really wanted them to be there, they're not there. It's like, oh, for Pete's sake. So I rode all the way into downtown Tanjung Balai, because it's a kind of a divided highway, a divided street. You can't just turn around. So I had to keep going and going and going, then go around a roundabout and come back where there was another iced tea place I knew about. And this man on the scooter kept following me. And he would come up right beside me, but then I would just hit the brakes and slow down and let him go ahead of me. And then I would ride really, really slowly. But then he would ride slowly ahead of me. And then eventually he would drop behind me and then pick up speed and go beside me again. The guy was driving me crazy. He wouldn't leave me alone. And I came across another iced tea place, and they were just setting up. So they weren't ready to sell iced tea yet. So I was like, I can't even get my iced tea. And this guy riding beside me was just annoying me. I couldn't get rid of him. And then I came back here to the Malahayati, and I went into the office. And then the woman at the front desk was saying things to me, and I have to get out my phone to do Google Translate because I didn't understand what she was telling me. And while I was standing there trying to communicate, this guy who was following me on his motorcycle, he appeared. He rode into the Malahayati Hotel, got off his motorcycle, and then he came into the lobby, and he was standing right beside me. And then the woman at the hotel said, "Your friend?" I was like, "No, this guy, this crazy man, he's been following me all over the city. I don't know him. I don't know who he is." And he wouldn't go away. The hotel staff couldn't get him to go away. And then they told me that my room, my regular room 19, was occupied. So I had to pick a different room. But that was very difficult to communicate using Google Translate because my phone wasn't working properly and this and that. And this guy was hovering over my shoulder, distracting me. And it was just like, like nothing, all the little things were going wrong. But then I finally paid for this room. It's quite a bit more expensive, but I have some rupiah left over, so I just paid for it. And it's a bigger room, nicer air conditioning. I can feel it. It's nice and strong, so I'm getting my money's worth. And then I paid for this room, rolled my bike here to the back, and I wanted to go get a cold drink, and there's a little shop across the street. I always go to that shop because it's right there. And I waited until the crazy man disappeared. I kind of looked outside, and I'm looking. It's like, is he gone? Is he finally gone? And I guess he finally left. And then I look across the street, and my store is closed. Because, yeah, one thing in Indonesia, you never know when a store is open or closed. They just keep their own hours. I was so looking forward to a cold drink. And then that little shop across there, the doors were shut, and it wasn't open. So I couldn't even get my cold drink. It's like, all the little things going wrong. But here I am, and I can relax here in my room, unpack and start running some errands, and yeah, going to relax for the rest of today, get my bike cleaned, I think. Maybe I'll do laundry while I'm here, get all ready, get packed up for returning to Malaysia. So not a very exciting day today on the bike. I didn't do a heck of a lot. I basically just got on the bike and started riding. I kept riding. I stopped at a convenience store once to get a cold drink, and then I just got back on the bike and I rode the rest of the way here. I didn't really stop to go exploring. I didn't meet anybody. I didn't really do anything. No small adventures. I just rode my bike here. I just wanted to get to the ferry office to make sure I could get a ticket. So at least I was successful doing that. So that is it, shutting down once again. Very basic kind of experience today, and a very simple video to go along with it. But there it is. That's life on the national highway, riding a bicycle. Lots and lots of trucks. So that's it, shutting down, and I'll see you in the next video.